As a review on our previous topic, communication, language, and culture, hopefully we understand the relevance, the purpose, and the advantages of knowing about what communication is, what language is, and its role in communication, and of course, the culture that we reflect whenever we communicate and whenever we use words in our communication or even our gestures and our facial expressions. If you have insights or questions you want to share, I will make a discussion board available for us so that you could always give your insights and share your opinions about the topic. In addition to our review on the previous topic, I would like to share with you an excerpt from the book Language, Communication, and Intergroup Relations. According to this excerpt, indeed, the field of communication deals with everyday magic in a sense, since communication is the expression of feelings, wishes, commands, and desires. Richard Weaver in Language as Semiotic in 1970 said that every utterance is an attempt to make others see the world in a particular way and to accept the values implicit in that point of view. Howard Giles' scholarly work constitutes a major contribution to the understanding of the essence of man through what? Through communication and linguistic negotiations. According to this excerpt, whenever we communicate, we understand our essence. We make others see the world in the way that we see it, and we even share our values, persuade them to accept that values. And so whenever we communicate or expose ourselves to communication materials, there definitely would be an impact whether we know it or not. That's why we have to be careful to what topics or ideologies we expose ourselves. As an introduction to our new topic, types of communication, I would like to share with you Albert Mehrabian's 738-55 rule of personal communication. According to Mehrabian, 55% of the impact in our personal communication comes from body language, 38% comes from tone, and 7% comes from spoken words. Now, if we're going to understand this, it would mean that in our conversation with another person, if we're going to use an apologetic word such as sorry, S-O-R-R-Y, but our voice and tone would be sarcastic, and then our body language or facial expression would be sarcastic. Even if the word is supposed to be an apology, then the meaning would be very negative because of the voice, tone, and body language used. So we have to be very careful in using our words. It should always be aligned to our voice, to our tone, and to our body language so that we could actually show sincerity. Now, the numbers here, 738-55 rule, is actually debated upon by a lot of communication scholars because how could Albert Mehrabian be sure that it's really 7%, 38%, and 55%? Now, to be honest, I'm not really also sure if it's 738-55, but I do agree with Albert Mehrabian that the body language, the voice, and tone really do have more impact than spoken words. How about you? What's your insight? Kindly share them in our discussion maybe next week. For the universal expression of emotion, I would like to share this article by Kendra Cherry. It says here that our emotional expression is universal. So here, I'm going to share with you this highlighted part or this encircled part. Emotion expert Paul Ekman has found that for most part, the facial expressions used to convey basic emotions tend to be the same across cultures. Although there could be more than 7,000 facial expressions, but the basic emotions are seemingly universal. So in terms of nonverbal universal expression, definitely that would be facial expressions. So what are the 6 universal emotions? Happiness, surprise, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. So only facial expressions are universal expressions of emotion. When we say universal, it's the same, it's accepted as true in whatever region, country, culture, nationality, it's the same. We go to the Philippines, a sad face would look like a sad face. If we go to Timbuktu, it would also look like a sad face, and it would have the same meaning. So that's universal. Wherever you go, whatever gender, whatever color, whatever age, so that would be the same, universal. Types of communication would be based on several things. So if you encounter articles online or books and we talk about types of communication, there would be so many types. So we have to first figure out what basis were the types of communication actually from. So in this discussion, we're going to have 4 bases of the types of communication. Number 1, the expression or mode. Number 2, flow of information. Number 3, purpose or style. And number 4, context or level. So these are the 4 bases of communication, types of communication that we're going to be using or doing a discussion on. Now, let's start again. There are different types of communication depending on where they're based on. So we're going to talk about 4 bases of the types. First, expression or mode. 2, flow of information. 3, purpose or style. Number 4, context or level. I hope you're ready. So let's proceed. Now, this may be seemingly overwhelming because from 4, you now have sub-levels, the types of communication per flow, per purpose, per context, and per expression or mode. But don't worry, we'll discuss this one by one. I hope you're ready to listen. You could take down notes, or you would be able to maybe annotate in the PDF so you would be able to remember your insights. So number 1, expression or mode. Number 2, flow of information. Number 3, purpose or style. Number 4, context or level. Let us now focus on the first basis of the types of communication for our discussion, expression or mode. So we have 2 types, verbal, use of words, non-verbal, because of the word non, then without the use of words. So again, when we talk about verbal communication, we have 2 types. It could be oral or spoken or written. So whenever we speak or whenever we write and we use words, then these could be considered as verbal communication. Just a brief review, verbal communication, use of words, we have 2 types, oral or spoken, or it could be written. Okay, I hope you're still with me. When we talk about nonverbal communication, there are more than 8 types. But for this discussion, we limit it to discussing the 8 types, or only 8 types among the many. Now, what are these? Number 1, facial expressions. Number 2, visual. When we talk about visual, it could be color, height, weight, okay, chronemics, time, paralinguistics. These are seemingly words, but not really words, like parang linguistics. Okay, like laughing, sighing, crying, okay, like the he 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 and the ha ha ha's, hu. These are paralinguistics. Sneezing, okay, coughing. So all of these are paralinguistics. Proxemics, use of space. Emblems, these could be the nodding, the use of hand gestures. And then we have objectics or object language, meaning the accessories, the clothing, the jewelry, the makeup, the hairstyle, okay, and then haptics or tactile, meaning touch. So these are the 8 types of nonverbal communication for our discussion. So just a brief review for nonverbal without words. We have 8 types. Number 1, facial expressions, the only universal nonverbal communication. Number 2, we have visual, meaning it could be the height, it could be the color, it could be the thickness or the thinness. Number 3, time, chronemics. Number 4, vocal cues, or what we know as paralinguistics, again, sneezing, laughing, sighing, crying. Space, proxemics. Number 6, hand gestures or head movements. These are emblems. Number 7, clothing, jewelry, accessories. Then objectics or object language. And then touch would pertain to haptics or tactile. So these are for the expression or mode basis of communication. So I hope everything's clear. Just to add to our knowledge about verbal communication and also a brief review, verbal communication is the use of words to generate meaning. It could be spoken or written. And there is no universal verbal language. When we talk about universal, as discussed in the previous slide, universal would mean that it's accepted in any culture, by any race, by any gender, by any age. So it's universal, accepted by everybody. There is no universal verbal language. Why? Because every culture, every country, almost every place, most especially if it's an island or a place divided by a mountain or mountain ranges, usually there would be variety in the verbal language or the words used. That is why there is no universal verbal language, although there is a universal non-verbal, okay, language, which is facial expression. Now, English is more of a lingua franca. The English language is more of a lingua franca because lingua franca means spoken by the majority. So in the world, English is spoken by the majority. It's more of a lingua franca rather than a universal language. Although you might see or encounter articles saying that English is a universal language. Now, maybe if their concept would be spoken by the majority, lingua franca, that is correct. But to be more accurate, then let's use the term lingua franca. In the Philippines, Tagalog is the lingua franca. Now, let's proceed. It has nonverbal aspects. Verbal communication has nonverbal aspects, meaning when we say something, okay, spoken, the nonverbal aspect of the word would be the voice, the tone, the pitch, the volume, the accent. That will be the nonverbal aspect of the spoken word. If it's written, for example, the word is hello, then HELLO, the nonverbal aspect, are all the letters capitalized.